Hello, hello, hello. It is Elsa 932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about Love is Blind France, or some would say Love is Blind Francais. No, I do not speak French, okay? I went to high school. I learned to speak Spanish, but all my friends learned French. So I know a little bit, just enough to hear some of it in French, like the first episode, and realize, okay, I can move on to the next, I can move on and listening to it in English. I know their tone of voice, kind of. So let's see who's here. Hey, Ari, glad to see you here. Glad to have you here. Hey, Sam, happy Saturday. This is early for us on a Saturday. This is early, and we're here early only because it is the best time. It is evening time in France. So I am certainly, catering to the French audience as well. TB21, glad to see you here. Hey, Lady Lyrics. Hey, Letitia A. Haven't seen you in a little bit. Glad to see you. So, y'all, France is here. France kicked in the Love is Blind door and said, we are here. I was quite pleasantly surprised by France. Now, people in the comments, we go back and forth. They're like, why would you think the French people would be polite? They're kind of rude. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think they're rude, but I thought they would be too polite on camera. I figured the camera, lights, camera, action, they would be too polite for the cameras. Not that they're always polite. Hey, Debbie, glad to see you. Glad to see you are here with us. Missed you. Haven't seen you in the chat for a while. So, yes, it is noon here on the East Coast. It is, evening time. Hey, Michelle, glad to see you. Glad to have you here. Oh, my people of France. And y'all gonna have to help me, just like the folks are helping me with Brazil, because I'm also covering Love is Blind Brazil, which Netflix, I don't know why you did both of them same time, same week. I feel like I'm working overtime here. I cover all the international versions, and y'all put me in overtime this week. So much so last night's live, y'all, was unlisted. I went live and like, why isn't anybody here? Until I looked and realized it was unlisted. Glad you made a live too, Michelle. So let's get to the cast of characters, okay? Let's get to the cast. We're going to chat. I do not have a panel. I may be dropping the link, okay, for y'all to be able to come up if you wish to. You don't have to cam up, but I want to make sure you are a person behind your camera first before I bring you up. Y'all will have, your say on France, because France is a lot. France is a lot, okay? Yes, we're doing the Brazil Love is Blind live 5 p.m. EST tomorrow. You were searching for me and worried. Girl, thank you for searching, because I was in the nether regions and didn't even realize it. Hey, to go to Africa. Glad you're here, Alicia. I'm not sure if I mentioned your name. Glad to see you. So, y'all, France gave me a lot, okay? France gave a lot, and it is quite interesting. I love the blending of the people, the blending of the players, the blending of everyone. But again, France did not come to play. So let me do this. Miss Ari, since you were the first one in the chat, and then I'll let Sam, Ari and Sam, let me know in the comments who you want me to start with. Okay? Y'all were the first one. Oh, no problem. I have a girlfriend. It doesn't spell like that, but I have a girlfriend that has that same name, okay? Hey, AK's POV, glad you're in the bushes, okay? Ari and Sam, if you want to give me who you want me to start with, I'm going to do that. Y'all are also members. Y'all were first in the chat and also members. So again, let me know who you'd like me to start with. Okay? Ari gave me her pick. Sam, we're going to go with your pick next. If you want to just type it in, I'm going to see it. So Ari said start with Kim and Thomas. We're going to cover everybody. We're going to cover everybody. Sam, I need the second one. You can't just go along with Ari. This is what happens in the chat if this is your first time here. Sam and Ari usually of like minds. So since Ari told me, let's start with Kim and Thomas. Okay, Kim and Thomas. Let me get their pictures. So here's what I did. Okay, I'm going to let y'all know we're going to go through the triangles of it all. We're going to go through all of it. It's going to be fun. Okay. So Kim here, okay, we find out is, a little bougie. Okay. We find out Kim is a little bougie. Kim is, how can I say it? Thomas is a single dad. He absolutely adores his, I believe, daughter. Yes, because the other cast member is a mom of a son. So he absolutely adores his daughter. It is not a problem for Kim at all. Kim said that is not an issue. And Thomas really shares about himself and his life and everything about his daughter, and life with Kim. A little, yes, I'm trying to be polite, Ari. She is a little bougie. So Kim's other connection in the past was Clement. I love saying his name, y'all. I love saying his name. So he has been to the G20. He has been like a journalist traveling with the French prime minister. And I was like, ooh, you giving it on a little too thick. Are you putting your accolades ahead of the person you are? But hey, he's also an engineer and everything. And Kim was like, ooh, it's getting hot in here. The intelligence is on high with the temperature. Now, here's why I included Clement. Oh, well, we're going to get to Maddie because Maddie's connected. We're going to get to Maddie connected to who he connected to. So while she's talking about that with Clement, somebody came back there and told her that, this man that she was seeing in the pods came back and, said something that Kim didn't like. She did not take, I don't want to say who it is yet. We're going to get to it when we talk about them. Maybe I should just say it. Tatiana. Tatiana came and told Kim some stuff, and Kim was cool as a cucumber. I like that about Kim. Tatiana was like, oh my gosh, Tom this, Tom. Yeah. She didn't say the name. She just said, he said this, and he said this, and da 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 da. And Kim figured it was Thomas. Now, this is why Clement is in here. Kim has one of the most embarrassing moments on Love is Blind. Y'all can either co-sign or not. Y'all let me know what you think too in the chat. Kim had one of the most embarrassing moments on Love is Blind because Kim walks into the pod. Kim comes in and she said, I heard you, I heard this, da 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 da, and blah 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 blah. He's like, oh, did the person say my name? She said you said this, and she said you said that, and he said, but did the person say my name? Stop playing, Thomas, stop playing. He's like, okay, who do you think I am? Thomas, stop playing. He said, oh, okay, well, who do you prefer over Thomas and Clement? She said, Thomas, oh my gosh, you're number one, and Clement is my number two. He's like, oh, okay. Hair rejection is protection. Clement apparently, thank you, Sam, let her talk for 15 minutes and then say, oh, by the way, I'm not Thomas, I'm Clement. To say that Kim was sliding down the wall, oh my word. I couldn't believe it. I had secondhand embarrassment for her. I was like, Kim, sweetie, I think it's time for you to leave. She's like, oh my, did I lose you? He's like, yeah, you lost me. You really did lose me. I was like, Clement, you did it very, very well. Hey, Poopa 8, glad to see you here. Truly one of the most embarrassing, but also hilarious moments. Yes, she slid down that wall. All the way down the wall, down the couch, down the floor, all the way. And her face, yes, Sam, was cracked. She said, ooh, did I lose you? Yes. You call me another man's name. And here's the thing. I am sure she knew who her date was, but she didn't pay attention. She thought it was obvious it was Thomas. And we know, tell me she ain't watching the show, that when you are a part of the show, you go down dating 3 people to the end. So she knew it was Thomas or 2 others. And since you were dating with intention and Clement was one of your people, why are we doing that? Okay? Hilarious but cringy. Hilarious but cringy. I was like, I need to make a short out of that. Hilarious but cringy. That Kim, you have right now the most embarrassing moment on Love is Blind history for me. And I watch all the versions, all the international versions too. Very embarrassing. Okay. So Kim, eventually, y'all, because Clement moves on, she only has Thomas. Okay. But Kim was not Thomas's only connection. Okay. Kim was not Thomas's only connection. Thomas, Thomas apparently is a favorite because Thomas is, like an engineer, but Kim is aware. When the other ladies brought his name up, that's the other thing, France and everybody, Love is Blind. I don't like y'all calling names in the pods. Leave the person's name out of it. Name, descriptions. Somebody knew it was, another man because she said he does MMA. Stop it. You are basically sleeping around the enemy. Not the enemy for real, but these ladies are competition. Stop it. Nobody should know who you dating. Because the men, some of them kept it quiet. Okay, some of them kept it quiet. What is my favorite version? Okay, I have a soft spot for Brazil. It was my first one, and I have a huge Brazilian following in subscribers. And I really love Sweden because Sweden, like, you never know. Sweden production, you never know what they're going to get. Japan, aesthetically, cinematography, yes. But I have a soft spot for Sweden season part 2. There was a couple there that I got a soft spot for. But Sweden, they don't have to ask if there's anybody expecting. At every reunion, there's somebody expecting. Yeah, they were giving up too many details in the pods. I noted that, including divulging a mixed race description. Yes, and though people want to say where they're from and their heritage, every time they said that, I was like, you are telling them what you look like. You are telling the person what you look like when you say that. And I didn't like some of that. I'm like, they already know you're mixed race. They already know your African heritage. But one lady said, I come from a place in France, a place that was a French colony that is warm. She never told them exactly where. And we're going to talk about her. But in this Kim Clement situation, I have to say, Clement, you handled it very well. I wish we got to see the full 15 minutes and hear her go on and on about him and on about Thomas reeling into Clement when she really wanted to reel in about Thomas. But you know what? That was a protection for her. That was a protection for her because I'm sure if she went in blazing like that to Thomas, she would have lost Thomas too. So it worked out well for Kim. Now, the reason why I say Kim is a little bougie, Kim does end up with Thomas, y'all. She does end up with Thomas. If you are here, that is because you already seen the show, okay? I'm not holding back anything. We talking about the show. When they go to the honeymoon, Kim is like, oh, we don't have any staff to open the champagne. And Thomas is like, I'm here. Thomas gives me, blue collar, good old, down to earth, construction style guy, even though he's an engineer. He takes me like he likes to work with his hands, just a regular sort of guy. Kim said she wanted a Prince Charming, blonde hair, Prince Charming. He is not that. He is not that. She said, he said his, couple goals are the Beckhams. And she said, oh my God, mine too. I'm sorry, I don't like this couple goals thing because I don't know the inner workings of other people's relationships, so I don't try to be jealous of them. I don't like the couple goals thing. Okay, I really don't. Yes, I too like the diversity. I love the diversity of this cast. Absolutely amazing. So when they were at we're going to get to the mixer, we're going to get to the couples, but let's stick to the pods for right now, okay? But let's get to the next one. And I did not see, well, we'll move on to the next one. We'll move on to who Thomas was connected to. And I don't like putting it this way, and I hope nobody thinks I'm throwing shade at all. But Thomas was also connected to the young lady Tatiana. She's the one who came and told Kim a few things, okay? She told Kim a few things, and that's what sent Kim run into Clement's pod by mistake, telling him off like he Thomas. Now I'm putting everybody's connections, y'all. Okay, everybody's connection is going to be here. So this is Tatiana and all the connections in the pod. Rejection and protection said all representation isn't good representation. And we see it here. So this is Tatiana's connection. As I say, Thomas, she and Thomas bonded on the fact that they're single parents, but Tatiana also had, the reason why Andy is up here is because Andy asked her what is her age right away. She did not like that. She didn't like that he asked her age right away, and she kind of brushed him off. Okay. She liked Thomas. They, commiserate that they were single parents. But Thomas, ended things and he went with Kim. He chose Kim. Now, we also learned that Tatiana had other connections. Gallian. Y'all remember the story of Gallian? Now, Gallian is another embarrassment for France. I have not seen this before, okay? Gallian was kicked out of the pods and the entire competition and sent home. Not before he was in front of the camera to say why he was kicked out. Gallian, how could we forget? Gallian, the pods were told he ain't here no more. He ain't here. And everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Apparently the men knew. So I'm guessing the crew, this is my guess, that production is like, we getting rid of Gallian. Don't none of y'all make the same mistake. Gallian was kicked out, we find out, because he made connection with someone outside the pods. Meaning he hooked up with someone and they came back to his hotel. And Thomas tells Tatiana in the pods, he said, I want you to know that you're better off without him. He was caught, with company a few times in his hotel room. Yes, he did appear nice and handsome. And that's probably why he had someone come back to his hotel room a few times. Y'all, please make sure you do like the live. Okay, please make sure you just hit that like just one good time. Okay, so Gallian was kicked out. So Tatiana was having a rough time. She had to dismiss Andy. Thomas chose Kim instead. Gallian is kicked out, and she had a sliding down the walls with Yannick at the pods. And Yannick had to kind of gather her together. Gallian couldn't keep it in his trout for 10 days. Right? 10 days. 10 days. But there's another man that couldn't keep his mouth shut for 10 days either. We're going to get to him. So Yannick is like, girl, I'm here. I'm here for you. We have a connection. She is sliding down the walls about these other men. Like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. And nobody, she is feeling a complete woe is me breakdown that she's not realizing. Yannick is sitting here like, I'm still here. I like you. Let's do this thing. And I was like, oh, I was having a Tiffany and Brett moment. If you watch Love is Blind Seattle, Tiffany had fallen asleep and we thought that was the end of her and Brett when he was pouring his heart out to her. And I said, this is the end of Tatiana and Yannick, because he pouring his heart out to her and she ain't paying attention. I mean, Yannick wasn't pouring his complete heart. He was just like, hey, I am here. I am still present. I am with you. So in the end, as I said, Thomas chose Kim. Gallian was kicked out. She dismissed Andy because he was all about age. Tatiana and Yannick ended up together. We're going to talk further about it, okay? We're going to talk further about it because Yannick too, and I forgot that, I know I forgot one picture. Yannick too had a connection with a young lady named Cindy. I forgot her picture in the midst of this. And Cindy, Cindy tells us that she froze her eggs. She is prepared for all of this because I believe Cindy was 35 or so, or 37. And Cindy was, talking, life into him, talking about support and emotional stability, all of that. And Yannick was, going along with her. Yannick made the decision on Tatiana because he said he didn't feel a spark. Cindy, though, this is probably why I forgot Cindy's photo. Cindy pissed me off. When Yannick told Cindy there was no spark, he couldn't feel a spark or connection with her, that he was going to choose Tatiana, Cindy went to the women's lounge to kind of chew out Tatiana. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What we not going to do is come at the competition in these pods. This is another reason not to be saying names in them pods. She came in the lounge room and, oh my gosh, I don't know how you can say there's no spark. And all of a sudden there's a spark. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, wait a minute, Cindy. Tatiana said the same thing. Hey, Cross Crunchy Cruise Her, glad to have you here. Tatiana said the same thing because she's like, I don't know, maybe you seduced him. And Tatiana's like, seduced him? He can't see me. What do you mean? So I was like, Tatiana, you need to hush. I need to walk away from you. But for whatever reason, Tatiana decided, it's a kumbaya moment. Cindy, I guess, reeled herself back in. And Tatiana was kind of like, okay, fine, bye. Cindy, you embarrassed yourself too with that. Come in at the girl that he chose. He chose. So let's go to, let me see. Cindy was 36. She was what he should go for, but that wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. And we find out later on when they were at the mixer with all the couples together. Okay? All the couples together. Now, another couple or another sort of triangle that we had, because somebody just asked about him. Cynthia had Maddie on her list with Jonathan. Now, Cynthia, I like you as a fellow vertical lady, as a fellow tall gal. I really like Cynthia, okay? But I'm not the heels girl, Cynthia. I'm not the heels girl, Cynthia. Praise Love is Blind, but I got 2 episodes into. Can't wait to see what you're breaking now. We'll watch it live. We'll watch after this. Like, Sam, yeah, I break down the whole thing. Hey, Ottawa, glad to see you. Glad to have you here. So Cynthia, my gal, my fellow, how tall am I? I say 5'11", but I'm closer to 6 feet. So Cynthia's my gal. Oh, you finished Brazil? Okay. Cynthia is my gal, but I'm not a heels girl. Heels are too much for me. And I have wide feet, large feet. It was a trouble too finding that, and I don't like pain. I don't like pain for pain. Okay? You thought I was a short girly? Few folks say that until they meet me. If you're on Little Black Book 91 Seaway and I met up, and she's like, I thought you were itty bitty thing. I was like, wait a minute. No, I'm tall. What? I was closer to your height. No. I'm my license says 5'11". My doctor says 6 feet. Okay. I'm a tall gal. I was the tallest in class. Always the air up there, and everybody used to. I was a tall gal, tall plus size gal. So I would too get the little here and there foolishnesses that you go through in school. But Maddie and Cynthia had a good thing going. They meshed on religion. They were very close to their religious beliefs. They really got along well. Until Cynthia put up her boundary. Okay? Cynthia put up her boundary and said, hey, my only thing is I would rather you not have people calling you at 1 o'clock in the morning, especially female friends, 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, Maddie said, I don't care if it's a male or female friend. If they need me at 1 a.m., I am there. Okay, you want to be good for your friend. So Cynthia's like, okay, I hear you. But if it's 1 a.m. and your female friends just calling to chat when you should be spending quality time with me is where we have an issue. And I'm with Cynthia. But she was very nice saying it. She was very nice saying it. And he went off the deep end. Sounds like he wants to cheat in peace. Yes, he does. Because he said he pulled out the George Michael and freedom. He pulled out the William Wallace freedom. I want freedom. I want to be free. I want to do what I want to do. Don't try to put me, try to hold me down and I can't do what I want to do and da-da-da-da. And Cynthia did the right thing. Cynthia went to the back pedal. She didn't argue with him. She didn't put up a fuss that we saw. This is an edited show. Cynthia was like, okay. Well, it was nice knowing you. Cynthia backpedaled. I was like, but Cynthia also talked to Jonathan, which they've been talking all this time. Great talks, great whatever. Jonathan is a chef. And I'd like to know a chef how, is he a chef of a restaurant that people would know? But she and Jonathan been talking about great things, and they never talked about religion, but realized they're kind of like on the same path as far as religion. Okay? Kind of like on the same path as religion. If Cynthia said what he said, he would have had a whole problem. Yes, he would have. Yes, he would have. I did see that part. Cynthia handled herself very well. Yes. He said he wants to be married, but I think he only wants the papers to say he's married, but still live like he's single. It's just like Galleon. Galleon is the one where I showed you before. Galleon said that he puts his phone in airplane mode when he around the ladies. That means the alerts from the other ladies ain't gonna come through till he ready for it to come through. He don't need to put his phone face down. So he a trickster. Galleon. That's Galleon who was kicked out. Okay? He didn't have it on airplane mode at the hotel. He would have it face up so the girls feel secure. Nothing ain't coming through, but it's on airplane mode. It's on airplane mode. He else said in chat, here to support, need to broaden my Love is Blind options. Chicago girl. And tomorrow we deal with the seniors on Love is Blind Brazil, and they are a hoot too. They are a hoot too. As I said, both my first impression male pics are embarrassing me. That's why I don't like the first impression stuff. I don't like it. So Maddie want to cheat in peace. Jonathan is like, hey, Jonathan and Cynthia, they, chose each other. And that reveal, I felt sorry for both of them. That reveal, I felt sorry for both of them. But I'm sure Jonathan was happy, okay? She was in her high heels. She looked gorgeous. She looked amazing. But Jonathan's chin is at her chest. His line of sight is the cleavage. Okay? That's how short Jonathan is to her. She said she had only one physical requirement. And we heard about it in the women's lounge. And then here she is, she meets Jonathan. And when they looked at each other, came face to face. Yeah. I'm sure he was happy. His line of sight was amazing. But she's like, how am I going to kiss him? I need to bend over. And I'm like, Cynthia, is the same way that men, who are tall got to kiss their ladies. I mean, it's just a difference. And the air up there, men taller than you is going to be, hard to find. I mean, come on, girl. The chesticles, if you will. Yes. Keep my comments tame tomorrow regarding the seniors because we won't be after dark. Well, there are ways to say what you want to say about the seniors. The seniors are buck wild. I will say the Love is Blind Brazil seniors. Yeah, that is. Cynthia is absolutely gorgeous. Ooh, radiant. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you are not a Cynthia fan around here. I am. Okay, she has not shown me anything quite yet in my recap, but she did something on her honeymoon. Quite yet. But Cynthia is amazing. But I don't expect anything less because remember, she's in luxury sales. So she definitely has poise and grace. And I love that for my tall sister. Absolutely gorgeous woman. This picture does her no justice. If you go and you see her on the reveal, amazing. I have not seen an angle of Cynthia that I'm like, oh, girl. Not once. She is absolutely beautiful. So she has Cynthia and Jonathan. They, picked each other. They had their reveal. And yes, all her hesitations and fears were confirmed. Yes, she is like, ooh, Meg Thee Stallion. Yes. So next up, because I think I'm going to drop the link for y'all. Next up, let's talk about this couple. Alex and Chloe. They ain't had no other people. But it's something about Alexandre that is telling me that Chloe ain't the one. Something about Alexandre is telling me Chloe ain't the one. I don't know. They're the ones that, you know, they showed they had a smooth romance. They talked, they got engaged, and so forth. Whose story, Michelle? Michelle, give me a name. We forgot her story. But yeah, Alex and Chloe. You think they'll say I do and stay married? I don't know. Something about Alex makes me hesitate, and it's, you know, he's not as verbally affectionate as she is. Chloe, oh yeah. Chloe didn't have too much of a story. She didn't have too much of a story. Julie had a huge story. We'll get to it. They did seem happy at the reveal, but Alexandre ain't seem happy at the couples mixer. There was no affection. There was no affection. Does Chloe speak to her family? I really don't think so. I know what you mean. He may have other preferences. Yes, he's given me Chloe ain't his preference. That is what Alexandre is giving me, that Chloe is not his preference. And I hate that for her. That's what all Alexandre is giving me. He's giving me a hesitation, I should say. He's giving me that he is hesitant as far as Chloe is concerned. And I'm not sure what it is, but he's giving me hesitation. That's what he's giving me. He's giving me hesitation. So Chloe, she is a physical therapist. She comes from a former French country. She's the one that said she wouldn't tell them where it is. She's never been lucky in love. She found out that her significant other betrayed her. He cheated. She wants someone that is tender and kind. But she's the one that goes into the pods and telling all the ladies about her romance with this man. And I said, girl. But yeah, he thought about her a lot. They talk, they say, oh, they don't have a vision. Like when he asked 5 years from now, she said, I can't think about 6 months out. She can't think about anything except 6 months out. So yeah, she's the one who's saying Alicia Keys to him. But we didn't get a whole bunch on Chloe and him other than they both been cheated on. His childhood sweetheart of 9 years cheated on him with a friend. That was their story. Okay, see ya, Ari. Thank you. Girl, the mixer was Mean Girls. The mixer was Mean Girls. Chloe seems so sweet. I feel bad for her. Yes, she does. She does seem very, very sweet. But there's something here with you know, I want to say Alejandro is so bad, but it's Alexandre. So next up, we have another love triangle, and there's only one more after this. Charles. Yes, Sam. These young people can't think about 6 months. So Charles has Sarah and Julie. Sarah is a lot. Sarah says she is not going to talk about intimate things because that is not how she was raised. We are not going to talk about that, especially on camera. And that is one test for her, for a man, if he's going to be pushy or if he's going to respect her boundaries. But Sarah is pushy. When Sarah finds out that he's talking to Julie, Sarah's none too pleased. And her clique ain't none too pleased. Now, one lady there had said, you know, she cut off a guy, even though she liked him because he wanted to talk about intimacy and she thought it was too soon. Julie's like, wait a minute, we have to talk about these things. We only got 10 days. So it's an accelerated process and you have to talk about it anyway. So just talk. So Sarah, knowing, you know, that's my opinion, she getting pushed back on her heels because Julie and Charles could be trauma bonding. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know too much. Julie has been kicked out at home. Okay. She has, you know, also left at an early age. Her friends are her chosen family. Charles, same kind of thing. Just feels abandoned by family. And his, you know, he lost his mother. And his father didn't really want to be a parent. He said his father stayed around long enough to confirm paternity and he didn't see him after that. but he did lose his mother. And while Sarah gave Charles an ultimatum and said, listen, that girl is the opposite of me, and I don't know what you thinking, that she's even in the running with me. You need to make a choice, and you need to make it now. And he said, wait a minute, give me till the next date. Sarah did say, okay, but at the next date, she's like, okay, you need to dump her. And he's like, okay, I choose to continue the journey with you. He didn't really say, I choose you and I'm going to propose to you that we saw. I heard him say, I choose to continue with you. That's what I heard. So I was like, okay, but that's weird. You have to continue with 3 people. So what are you trying to say, Charles? So Charles goes in to dump Julie. And Sarah's in the women's lounge saying, yeah, he's about to dump her. I won. He's mine. He about to dump her. And I hope she comes back crying. So I know that he dumped her. And I'm like, girl, mean much? You are joined Irina and Micah in the Mean Girls Club of the Pods. Then she's like sitting there. She is sitting there, yes, clutching your pearls, Sam. She is sitting there in the women's lounge saying, what is taking so long? You do not need 2 hours to dump someone. Okay. She said it takes 3 seconds for a jerk to dump you and 3 minutes for a good guy to dump you. Meanwhile, in the pods, Charles and Julie are talking, and Julie was like, wait a minute, I didn't think this is going this way, that you were going to end things. She's like, well, okay, Julie says, I left you a gift. That cup that I gave you was handmade by a friend, and I take it with me everywhere. It's kind of a symbol of carrying my chosen family with me, and I want that to give it to you because that will be the first thing we could put into our home together. Charles is choked up. Charles is like, you did what I was looking for. You captured my heart. Basically he was swept off his feet. And Charles is in a pickle and goes to the men's lounge, and the men were no help. They're like, you got to go tell Sarah now that you done changed your mind. And I'm like, they must have been leaving something out, because I really don't like this change your mind thing. Because when Love is Blind UK, Katisha and Damola with the Javin situation, she had said yes. She had declared Damola is her man. She had declared she was going to be with him and then changed her mind. Now, Charles didn't say he wanted to be with Sarah unless this is edited to show it differently. Charles just said, I want to continue with you, which could be seen as, he didn't say only you. He said, I want to continue this journey with you. So it could be semantics. It could be something else. But Charles went and Charles said, yeah, Julie, you really, really touched my heart. So he had to go back to Sarah and tell Sarah, listen, it ain't you. I gotta choose Julie. Sarah goes back to the women's lounge, pissed. Sarah is pissed. Okay? Pistivity is at an all-time high with Sarah. How dare he? But anyway, if he chose Julie, then he certainly is not on par with her. That's what Sarah said. If he chose Julie, ain't no way he is her man. So Charles chose Julie, and they went off to the honeymoon. So the last trifecta is Sabrina, Julian, and Van Mai. Wait a minute. So Sabrina, we learned she was talking to both gentlemen, okay? She was talking to both gentlemen, and in talking to both gentlemen, Julian let it slip that he'd been thinking about some other woman that he met before the pods. How foolish could he be? Julian let it slip that he's thinking about some woman he met outside the pods. I'm like, are you serious? Are you truly serious? What the heck is going on with you? So she took it gracefully and she put it in her back pocket in her notes and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to just sit right here and I'm going to pay attention to what he talking about. So Julian tells the man, oh, you know, Sabrina took it so well. I'm so thankful for her. And I'm looking at him like, dude, Sabrina didn't take it well. She doesn't tell you everything. But she's talking to Van Mai. Van Mai said he is shy. He doesn't get into things too well. And Julian really didn't register. He didn't. Yes, his mind was elsewhere. She was talking to Van Mai. They have similar values as far as family. Now he did share where his family is from or where they came from. And I'm like, you're telling her that you are of a certain heritage, a certain look. I didn't like that. But Sabrina, because of Julian's talking about, yeah, she said North Africa. She did not say which country. North Africa is a gamut, you know, from all the way from Egypt to Morocco. We don't know. But she did not say which North African country. Van Mai is, to say a little bit awkward. He is a little bit awkward. Okay, but he's very shy in the way he speaks, but he wrote her a letter, drew her a flower, all these things. He was really about this lady. Okay. And I was like, okay, I can see, but something, y'all tell me in the comments, something about Van Mai is really like putting me off. Something about Van Mai is not registering with me. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Y'all tell me in the comments, what do you think? It's something, he says he's shy and stuff, but I don't know. I don't understand. I really don't understand what's going on with Van Mai. It's just, it's a little bit off-putting to me because I just don't understand. It may be a little bit different. Sabrina and Van Mai are like chalk and cheese. I don't see it at all. I don't. I'm with you. I really don't see it for them at all. And I'm like, what is going on? I said, maybe I'm a little pessimistic. Maybe the problem is me. I said, maybe the problem is me. And it's not them. It's me. So let me see what's the next. I don't know. I kind of like him. Not thrilled with her being in the Mean Girls Club. Not thrilled at all. I want to like him. I do. But it's something under the surface I'm not seeing with Van Mai, sorry. So here are couples, okay? Here are couples. Let me take the comments off so y'all could see. Van Mai said he was into brunettes, but his last relationship was with a blonde, blue-eyed gal. No, I don't understand him either. No. So these are couples. Van Mai and Sabrina, Yannick and Tatiana, Thomas and Kim, Charles and Julie, Andre and Chloe, Cynthia and Jonathan. Now, here's a few tidbits. Kim says that Thomas may not be used to this posh lifestyle. That is one of her concerns. Then, before we even get to the mixer, Jonathan there? Yes, Yannick is fine. Thank you. Somebody needed to say it. Yannick is fine. Jonathan says he's okay with what Chloe gonna wear. It's okay. Whatever you want. As far as shoes. So Cynthia said, well, since you okay, I'm gonna wear my heels because I love my heels. I feel fabulous in my heels. I look great in my heels. And that's when she lost him. He felt that she should have known that he would be uncomfortable around the other couples with her in heels, with her being towering above him. So you are not fine, sir. And you're not communicating that you're not fine. They have a talk in the bedroom, in the bathroom, close the door, but you're still mic'd up, Jonathan. He's like, you should know, just as one time we meet other couples and you should know how I feel. And I understand how he's saying, I may feel embarrassed. But why, sir? You picked her. It shouldn't be anything that anybody says to you that's going to mean anything as far as your lady is concerned. Okay? Okay? Yes, we can see he could be unserious. Yes, rejection, protection, but that doesn't mean he isn't a good-looking man. I still think about y'all. They are fighting in the closet. Yes. They are fighting in the closet. I thought it was a closet, but it could have been the bathroom. I don't know. But then they went outside by the pool. Again. Then she followed outside. It's like a whole fenced-in area where their villa is. She goes outside the gate with him. And then he's offended. She on the bottom step. He's like, I am not that insecure. You could stand next to me and have an argument. I said, Cynthia, just like you backed off the other guy, you need to backpedal off of Jonathan. You need to go. So y'all, they start the mixer and the other couples are there, except for Cynthia and Jonathan. It's nighttime now. But here's a few other things. Julie tells Charles she gonna need some time with that physical stuff. So he gonna have to sleep in the other room. And Charles said he okay with it. Did I hear that right? Charles said he okay with it. She told him, I'm gonna need, but Julie, the lights go out. You ain't got to see him. You ain't got to see him. But then I had to go and think, why is Charles behaving like this? Why is he willing to allow this? Because I'm like, first of all, Charles, da-da-da-da-da. But then I had to go back in my notes and type up Julie and look back. And Julie got some baggage as far as, a mate. She gave the hint that maybe there was DV involved before in a relationship. And I wonder if that is why, as Poopa 8 says, Charles took it like a champ. I had to be like, maybe that's why. And that would explain a lot, and I would be understanding if that is the case. She gave little hints and clues, and I'm like, production, you're not giving us what we need to hear, but it may be so we can jump to the conclusion of, oh, yeah, she really don't like Charles. She don't want him in her face. But the lights go out. She ain't got to look at him. But I think she needs that. She kept the teddy bear he gave her. He gave her about 4 gifts when he proposed. She kept his teddy bear. She did allow him to kind of tuck her in, but he was okay sleeping in the other room. So I'm thinking, again, it could be because she was okay. She had, some challenges as far as, sharing the space with a guy. Maybe she has the trust issue there. So we find out in this mixer, the Mean Girls Club, Kim says that she got to talk to Charles because Charles dumped her friend Sarah and she got to get to the bottom of it. Thomas is like, can we just chill? We on vacation. We can enjoy each other's company. Can we just chill? And Kim was like, no, Charles got to answer to some stuff. Now we find out that Kim, Tatiana, and Sabrina are part of Mean Girls Club. Mean Girls. And Kim's like, oh, I was going to come at you, but I thought, oh, no, I can't do this to, this little elf. She calls him an elf. Kim calls Charles a troll. She calls him other names too. I said, Kim, you a mean girl. And Charles kind of like, it's, okay, we all have a different journey. And Julie stepped up. Charles is like, we have all dated other people that are not here. So it's okay. We've all had connections who are not here now. And leave it at that. But Kim, Sabrina, neck and neck. Neck and neck. Tatiana, I'm glad maybe it was edited out. She kind of pulled back on it a little bit. But Kim and Sabrina were coming on strong. Like, why you pick her up? And Julie came in and kicked in the door and said, it is none of your daggone business. I said, tell him, Julie. Tell him, it is none of your business. What is between Charles and Sarah is between them. What is between Charles and I is us. Focus on your own daggone relationship and leave us out of it. I like Julie. Charles does take Julie off to the side for them to chat and talk and whatever. Thomas tells Kim, hey, Julie's having a rough time. I kind of feel sorry for her. Kim is now mad at Thomas. Why do you feel sorry for that girl? Kim is mad at Thomas. Why do you feel sorry for that girl? You should have my back, and my husband, my future husband, should have my back at all times. And Thomas is like, I'm trying to have some empathy for the young lady. She too, this has been trying. This has been, kind of like a seesaw for her. And Kim don't want to understand that. Why are you empathetic? You're supposed to be my man on my side. And she and the little Mean Girls Club, her, Tatiana, and Sabrina over there. So much so that Thomas at the end is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I mean, tears in his eyes in his confessional, like he doesn't want to do this anymore. It seems like the only people that were, I guess, semi-enjoying themselves is like Chloe. But Chloe is like looking at Alex in the distance like, oh my God, that's my man. He's so cute. And Alex ain't really checking for her like that. Chloe, I need you to brace yourself. That was so childish, Kim. I can't imagine her being a stepmother. I cannot. That's the first thing I thought, Poopa. I cannot. I could see her telling, her stepchild, like, oh my God, get away from me. I can so see that. Absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. She told her she wants Prince Charming. She sounds like the wicked stepmother. That's how she was behaving. But Sabrina's thing with Sabrina did something I didn't like. She asked them, do you think that my fiance, she asked Kim, do you think my fiance is cute? It don't matter what Kim think. See, now I'm thinking we're posers. We just here to look good. Sabrina also said in the past that she used to go through her people's phones. The men she dates, she go through their phones. And she said, but that's only when she feels like they're cheating or doing something underhanded. Simply can't wait to watch all this. Has been a chokehold. France and Brazil. Yes, Sam. Imagine me doing it, doing recaps, and now doing lives. Yes, they had me in a chokehold. I took the day off of work on Wednesday. I was up at 3 a.m. watching 2 filming, editing posts. Watch 2 film edit posts. I could only do 2 France and then 2 France on Thursday. But I'm going to do France first next week since I realized the time difference. It's best if I release France first and then do Love is Blind Brazil. But yeah, so y'all, Sabrina wants Van Mai to acknowledge how she looks because he doesn't talk about her looks. And I wonder again, too, if this is not his usual preference, but he said he likes brunettes. So she says, she keeps telling him he's handsome and he does not reciprocate. Van Mai does not turn around and tell Sabrina that she's pretty. I don't know about these folks. I don't know if Cynthia and Jonathan are going to be there, but I just don't know. I don't know at all. But y'all, if you wish to, I'm going to drop the link. If you wish to come up, you don't have to be cammed up. You don't have to be cammed up. But if you wish to join and give your thoughts on any of these couples, you can certainly come on up. No, Love is Blind Denver starts the 1st of October. Don't do that to me to go to Africa. I need to finish this. Because it's 4 episodes again on the 17th, another the weddings and everything on the 24th for both Brazil and France. And yes, Denver starts on the 1st, but France's reunion, I think, is on the 1st. France's reunion, I think, is on the 1st. So I thought I was going to have a little bit of chill, but now I got to create my thumbnails and everything for Denver because we're getting right into it. And then Married at First Sight is supposed to be coming up too. But yeah, and if you have some chill time, Brazil is a good time too. Brazil, Love is Blind is definitely a good time, which the live is at 5:00 tomorrow. But if you wish to have your say, certainly the link is in the chat. But hey, these are the couples. I thought it was a lot when they said 6 couples because usually we don't go with 6 couples, but I understand now why they did because I don't know if Cynthia and Jonathan gonna make it. I'm not sure if Cynthia and Jonathan gonna make it past the mixer because Jonathan said he packing his bag and go home. And I will say this, it was interesting to me that some members of this cast do smoke. I forgot where I was. Just like when we went to Europe and stuff, I saw it more in Portugal that people smoked than I did elsewhere. And I was like, dang, I was distracted. I had to rewatch Cynthia and Jonathan's argument. And I'm like, where is that smoke coming from? And they blurred his hand. He had a cigarette. So I said, oh, and I wonder if the version shown in France, if it's blurred. So if you are in France and you did watch this, was his cigarette blurred for you? Because I think it's only because it's, that. I think it's only because it's us in the US audience why they blurred it out. But I was like, where's that smoke coming from? And then someone had to tell me Cynthia was also had to be smoking because there was a second. And I was like, wow, I didn't even notice. But then when Julie and Charles are at the table and he's kind of consoling her after she done told Kim and them ain't none of their business. Ain't none of their business. I saw there was a pack of smokes and a lighter. And I'm like, huh, interesting. Poopa says, I'm in Croatia, which makes just as much, which smokes just as much, and it was blurred. Okay, Poopa, glad to have you here from Croatia. Glad to see you. Michelle said on Love is Blind Mexico, they also smoke. Right, it wasn't blurred. We saw them with their cigarettes. So I'm wondering, what is the difference with Love is Blind France? And I remember a couple of them in Mexico did smoke. I wonder, because Karen was smoking a lot and she was vaping in Love is Blind Mexico. That was a good time, y'all. We see more smoking in Asian countries also, right? So I was wondering, why did they blur out France? And France have the cigarettes and the cigarillos as well. I think it's, don't quote me, but definitely, I was wondering why they made that choice to blur it out. Don't know at all. But these couples, Yannick and Tatiana, are just, crying out Black love. They say they know it's an American thing, but it's how they can, love authentically and their open self. Okay, as their open self. Michelle just let us know it was blurred in the UK as well. It is odd. It is very odd. Why? The TikTok effect, maybe? I don't know. But Love is Blind Mexico, it's still unblurred. So it's interesting to me. Very, very interesting that they blurred out their cigarettes and not Mexico. Very odd. And even when Julie was smoking, her hand was down. You see the little pillar of smoke just rising from her hand, but her hand was down. And I'm like, why are we, hiding the cigarette? I wonder if the production told them that. And then why would they tell them that if that is their normal state? And then I wonder if Cynthia, Jonathan smokes, Julie smokes, who else on the cast does? Because it's interesting to me when the young people are actually smoking cigarettes. Well, they're 30s. They're 30s. I keep thinking they're 20s, but they're in their 30s. So, interesting. I wonder who else does. Who else on the cast? And if Thomas does, do you think Kim going to accept that? If Thomas smokes, I don't know if Kim's going, ooh, you thought it was a ha-ha? I don't know. I thought it wasn't an actual cigarette. I thought that's why it was being blurred out. But then I saw Julie hiding hers, and I'm like, did they tell the cast? It's these little things that I noticed, apart from Kim sliding down the wall with Clement. But apart from that, but I'm worried about Jonathan and Cynthia. I don't know if they're going to stay. Yes, the production companies differ from country to country. Yes. I know Brazil's production is very different from the Swedish production. Yeah, they're different. They are different. Mexico's production is different. You can see it in how it is filmed too. You can see in how it's filmed, how it's edited, how the story is told. You could tell the production is different. But I don't think Cynthia and Jonathan are going to make it. Y'all let me know if you think in the comments. Cynthia and Jonathan, are we going to even move in France, or are we just going to go home? I don't like that for my girl. But we're going to see. Maybe we'll see them again at the mixer, the engagement mixer, when all the cast comes together. As I said, Alexandre and Chloe, I'm worried. I'm thinking he don't like Chloe. I'm thinking he likes her, but he don't want to continue and finish with her in this journey. Maybe some companies allow smoking, others do not. Well, it may be, Sam, but why wouldn't France allow smoking and their people smoke? I mean, Charles and Julie. If Julie can't get over how Charles looks, or maybe if Charles, gets comfortable in his presence, I think I will think of it that way. If Julie doesn't get comfortable in his presence, I don't know. Yeah, it's all Netflix though. It is all Netflix. I'm not sure about them. Cynthia and John are going home. John is too insecure. Even if they stay, they'll only be temporary. Right. It'll be like Love is Blind Mexico. Somebody arrived at the apartment and was told their person ain't going to be arriving too. So they got to go home. Yes, he may have a Napoleon complex, and that is too bad for my girl Cynthia. And I'll tell y'all, and I did say it in my review and my recap, my grandfather was like 5'5", if so much, and my grandmother was 5'9". And in their wedding photo, he is looking up at her, and he looks like very, very little to her. And my grandfather never had an issue. He was like, always like, look at my lady. That is my woman, and that's who I got, and she's with me. He was very, very proud. He was very, very proud. So, but Jonathan ain't in that category. But Charles and Julie, if she ain't comfortable with him, this ain't gonna go anywhere. Thomas and Kim, I think Kim gonna be done with Thomas right quick and in a hurry, or she may linger it so she can get to the altar. I think Kim may linger it and get to the altar and say, "Hey, I wanna be able to say no to him at the altar." I'm hoping Thomas says no and goes home. But we do see in the previews that Thomas is like, he can't stand this. He can't be himself around her. Can't get in my head about how the meetups are great, and then the mixer comes around and the spark is gone. Yeah, the spark is gone because it's one thing to talk to someone, and it's another thing, to see them and put the face with the voice, and it's another thing to cohabitate with them. Yannick and Tatiana, I don't know. I really don't know. But y'all, I don't know if it's Tatiana or Kim that's going to be the one that I can't be with a man who makes minimum wage. One of them says they can't be with a man who makes minimum wage. We don't know which lady it is yet. They're on a high in the pods and and at the beginning of the holiday, but real life intervenes. Well said, rejection is protection. Van Maya and Sabrina, we do see in the previews that she goes on and on about him and some, something in his phone. I'm like, you are self-sabotaging. Sabrina, you are self-sabotaging once again, because the man has not told you that you're pretty. Just because he hasn't told you you're pretty. I mean, I don't see anybody here making it and saying yes at the wedding. If you see a couple that's saying yes at the wedding, please put their names in the comments. Please tell me. If you want, you can also put your ranking. My ranking of not gonna make it to the wedding starts with Cynthia and Jonathan. They ain't even gonna make it to Paris. They ain't even gonna make it to Paris to even live together. I don't think they're even gonna make it. Yannick is using Tatiana. He just liked her being a baddie and is a trophy girlfriend. Could be, but she has a child. I'm hoping for Charles and Julie to make it. I'm hoping, but I ain't seen it right now. If he don't win her heart the way she won his heart, Oh, Michelle is saying Yannick and Tatiana will make it. Okay. Well, the one thing I know is with Yannick and Tatiana, when we have that other mixer, I don't think he's gonna like Cindy too much. So they're safe. Now the Charles and Julie, when Sarah walks in, we gonna see. We gonna see when Sarah walks in. Sarah will definitely diss him. I don't know about Sabrina when she sees Julian. I don't know. Kim is so pretty and she would constantly complain about Jesus Christ. Yes, they do seem smitten. They do seem smitten with each other. I will give you that. I do see Yannick because they had sweet moments of just swaying, dancing while everybody else is with their person talking or whatever. They were certainly, forehead to forehead, just swaying, dancing. So Yannick and Tatiana, okay, I can see that. Sarah is Sophie. Sarah is Sophie from Love is Blind UK. But Sophie wasn't a mean girl to put the other person down. We didn't see that of her really being, she didn't like Megan. Okay, she didn't like Megan. She didn't like the gift and Megan being all out, whatever. But she wasn't mean the way Sarah was mean, talking about, Julie and trying to say Julie is trash. We didn't see that about Sophie in UK. But yes, it is she is I could see the similarity with Sarah and Sophie, but Sophie wasn't tearing the other women down. Now she gonna say, I can't believe you let your man come out here in that jacket, girl. I mean, Sophie will give you a little sly little okay. But she is not tearing down, telling the man, that other woman is trash and you should pick me. That wasn't Sophie. But we could see the archetype in these couples. We can see the archetype across Love is Blind, as you say, UK, and others. Kim is Cal Kaleem reincarnated, because I'm going to find out why you dumped my friend. That was Cal in UK asking why his friend was dumped, Demola. Sophie was a mean girl, but she was part of a triangle that played a villain in the mixer. Yes, she was villainous in the mixer. But yeah, Kim was Cal all over again, trying to find out why my friend was dumped. We could tell all the different archetypes, but it's going to play out. It's going to play out very well. The interesting thing is we don't see much of Chloe and Alex the whole vacation so far. We saw Charles and Julie had a yacht ride. We only see Yannick and Tatiana when they're eating, really. Thomas and Kim, did we see them do an activity? I think like we're rushing. We saw Van Mai and Sabrina at the spa, chillaxing, but I think they're kind of like giving us a little bit and they're rushing us for them to move in, because it's probably going to get wild when they move in. Going to be honest, I was okay with Cal when Cal did it, but not Kim and the others. I understand, but again, the reason why I'm okay with Kim doing it is because when Julie came and said, none of your business, stay out of our business, keep your mouth shut and mind the business that pays you, your relationship. And when Kim talked about here's also why I think Kim was a little snooty. She said, oh my God, he surprises me and he like gives me, like he shocks me when he puts his elbows on the table. I was raised, I know about etiquette, I know about laying a full table, I know how to use my utensils and the water and placement. I know placement, place setting placement. And when she said that, it was instilled in us, elbows on the table is very rude. It is low class. It was instilled in us. So I'm like, as Kim sees Thomas, and if she's clocking elbows on the table, she is putting a whole list together of things I don't like about Thomas. And now Thomas's largest one is going to be the fact that you ain't got my back. You embarrassing me in public. And I wonder, y'all, we don't know where Thomas slept. Was Thomas sent to the other room too? Like, because we don't know where most of them slept. We know some of them decided to pair up, but we don't know if Thomas was sent to the other room. We weren't told. Okay. Yes, I love Julie for that. In my recap, I was more animated, but it was like, stay out my daggone business. I know she wanted to stand up and say something, but she came at them for her man. And Charles is the diplomat. He said, hey, we all have connections that are not here. We all have connections that are not here. And it's okay. It's okay. It's part of our journey. Charles is the diplomat. I'm sorry. Alejandra, Chloe, Van Mai, and Sabrina are like Jed and Barthar. Maybe. Definitely low class, because I was never taught none of that. No, Poopa. We know where Yannick slept. Did he sleep? Yannick made it seem they didn't sleep. Okay. Oh, I just had to throw that in there. Did they sleep? Because Yannick didn't give that impression. Okay, he was cool and classy about it. He was real cool and classy, but did he? Okay. Yeah, Poopa, when you take etiquette class about how to sit, how to walk properly, posture, all of that, and cross at the ankles, when you take those kind of classes, how to use your knife and fork, hey, that's how some of us, were sent to etiquette training. And because I'm the tall girl, I was into sports and everything. My mother was a beauty queen, and my grandmother too was a pageant girl. I had to go to kind of a finishing school because I was rough. I was rough. I was not classic like Cynthia. I was a tall girl, tall, I was rough. Okay. Yannick definitely didn't sleep. He did. That he didn't. Yannick kept talking about miracles. Yes, miracles. There were lots of miracles. When you were saying that, y'all, I have to say what I thought of was Mariah Carey. There can be miracles if you believe. I was like, Yannick, I am hearing Mariah Carey as the background vocals to what you're talking about. I am hearing Mariah Carey in the background, sir. What is going on? What is going on, Yannick? What exactly? What is miracles on miracles on miracles? I was like, miracles? What are we talking about miracles, Yannick? How many miracles were there? Because I counted him saying 3 miracles. I'm like, what exactly are we talking about? What exactly are we talking about? With how many miracles are we talking? Okay? He was miracles on miracles on miracles. I'm like, okay. It was a miraculous evening, I guess, or overnight for him. Okay, but he said it so well. He said it so well that I was like, okay, I see you. I see you. He said it so well that I was like, interesting. He said physical miracle, emotional miracle, miracles on miracles. Miracles on miracles. I said, okay, Yannick, that was very, very well said. Well said and very polite. What do I think about the host and hostess? I love them. I really, really like them. What I think about them, I really like them. I really like them. I love this is our first African American host and hostess. Absolutely love it. France, you are groundbreaking. I did wonder about something because why didn't we see them walk in together? Because usually they're walking in either hand in hand if they are a married couple. Sweden, it is hosted by a lady. She's married, but her husband is not hosting with her. But for Argentina, the host and hostess are married, but not to each other. But they usually walk in together. I wondered why he came in and then she came in and they didn't come in together. And I never see her walk away. And only one time I kind of saw a little bit. No, I think they're French. He's French. She's French as well. And I wondered, I saw him walk away and I'm like, is it that? Yeah, they're both French. I'm sorry. I just say African American. They're both, French of, African descent. I'm sorry. I wondered about that because we saw him walk in and I wondered, is there something where we're not seeing her walk into a room? Like they're there, like we see them at a distance or something, but we don't. I just pay attention to details and I wondered if, maybe, I would thought maybe she hurt her foot or her ankle and they were doing it in such a way that she didn't have to be, centered on that, but she did say, well, he did say that they've been together for what, 14 years or 18 years, and she made him wait 4 years. She said he was everything she did not want. He was young, living with his mama, and his mama would pack his suitcases. I said, girl, I understand. I totally understand what you're talking about. But yes, I do like the French couple that is hosting, the host and hostess. Absolutely adore them. I do know he's an 11 world titled and 3 Olympic gold medal heavyweight judoka champion. He is Teddy Reiner. She is Lufna Plokas. She is a communications and external relations person. Okay. I think I have somebody in the background. Jay, could you show your camera and confirm you are indeed a person? Yes, he is well known. The guys went wild. I don't know if I think he did compete in the Paris Games. I think he did compete in the Paris Games. I think he did compete in the Paris Games. Yeah, I think he did compete. I'm sorry, Cynthia, that I gotta cover you. Amazing. I remember watching the Olympics last year and seeing him win gold. Yes, yes, he did. He did win gold in Paris. Let me see. I have a guest. Okay, I have a guest. Jay,
Non,
how are you?
bonjour Alexis, tu vas bien, ça va?
No English speaker here.
I know I'm just joking, yeah, but I mean, I'm a French as well.
Well, welcome. Thank you for being here. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts about the season so far?
I mean, it's pretty good. I like it, but it's so interesting viewing, like, having, like, watching your review and your listening to your point of view as, like, American and stuff compared to, like, me, like, I have, like, I can see both ways because I used to live in France. I'm French, and I've been in the US now for like 15 years. So yeah, I'm like kind of familiar with both cultures. And the way,
Okay.
like, for example, you see, like, for like you cover girls like the Sabrina and the other girl who didn't make it, who was dating Charles and Sarah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you call them mean girl and stuff like that. For me, it's so funny because like they represent pretty much like part of a typical French woman, like like the French typical woman. Like I see them as confident, like they know who they are and stuff. So it's so like funny to me when I see people in America call them like mean girl and whatever. Because if you go to Paris, I feel like most of them, that's like women in their late 20s, even like 15, late 20s, 30s. That's how we behave. Like like French people, like French, they have like this connotation with like to be a little bit like upfront, mean, a little bit mean, rude and stuff. But yeah, that was just a kind of my point of view. And I know
May-
like
Maybe me being a New Yorker, I don't see it. I mean, I've been to Paris not very long, just a few days, but I felt them to be, I felt the people to be still very kind, but they're very direct. Maybe it's the
very
New
di
Yorker in me that I'm
yeah,
okay with them being direct.
exactly. They're very direct. And they can be like very rude. Like for example, there's like this first of all, like you have to understand the culture in France. Like reality TV show is like something that like if you have like a degree and whatever, you should not be on a reality TV show and you should not even be watching a reality TV show. You're gonna be like kind of look at like, oh my God, like it's for the people who go there usually who have like, who don't have any education, they just want to be influencer. It's not like here in America, even if you have a good job and whatever, yeah, you can ask your employer to go on a reality show and come back. But no, if you go on a reality show, trust me, in France, you will never be able to find like a decent job afterward working in a bank or whatsoever. People watch it and pretty much like put it like in a low class, low level. Like even, for example, you are very like educated, talented, well-spoken woman, they will say like, "Oh my God, it's so crazy to me. Like, why would you even review this kind of show? Like, if you were in France, like for usually for if you were in France and you were doing that kind of review on YouTube, they will say like, "Are you much better than that?" and stuff. It's like a little bit elitist and stuff in some sort of way. I don't know if you see my point and you
I do
understand.
see your point. It's kind of like, in the UK when I, learned it's not, it's about class too, a class
Yeah,
system
and
too.
Kim, for example, she's like the editor, like the snobbish, like Parisian, like woman and stuff. Like Petty, like she thinks like for example she deserves like she said like she thinks like she's like Victoria Beckham and she's looking for a David Beckham like she wants like the soccer player who makes like not a little bit bad ball but who makes a lot of money
Beckham.
but yeah Beckham like yeah David Beckham and stuff. I think like that's the profile she's looking for, like she identify herself as Victoria where she's like looking for like this soccer player maybe. I think actually me I see her as like with a sugar daddy, like somebody who's really rich, like a little bit like much older, like maybe in his 50, 60. I mean, I think that's where that's what maybe will work for her. I mean, but yeah, but it's really interesting, like
It
to
is.
see like the difference, kind of like how people are like I'm watching like your review of a show, like you consider, like the mean girl, well, for me, like trust me, I'm sure like a lot of people in France, they won't have like a lot of backlash with those women they don't really care like that and stuff. And actually, they usually actually hype for type of girl because they want to feel entertained. Like they want to show. They feel like, yeah, the majority of French women or French people, I believe, sitting at home would recognize themselves in this girl. Like they don't like the people who are too nice, too gentle. The southern girl, like you, they don't like
Oh,
that in TV. Like they always,
so
like for example, there's a TV show called similar to Big Brother, like in France, called Secret Story, where the audience at home can vote out. But you realize that people who move forward and people that usually the audience at home call to eliminate and stuff is like the people who are like more passive, who don't create a lot of drama, who don't clash with other contestants. Because the youth over there, like, they like to be entertained because like I said, it's considered to be trash TV. The people who watch those kind of TV, they like to see trash on TV. So yeah, it's a different world. Like you don't watch reality there, like to find like a poorest people. That's why I'm very surprised actually. The casting for me on that show, like, it's very interesting. And I was kind of looking at some of a profile on Instagram. Like you see, they don't like most of them. They don't have like a lot of picture. It's not like they are influencer or looking to be like influencer. I'm sure later on they're gonna return to their real job, like compared to here in America where they say like they do like a certain time of job and then they want to transition and have like a full like influencer lifestyle afterward. I mean, that's just my opinion and stuff.
no problem. It's very insightful. I like to hear it. So, Cynthia is in the luxury sales division. So I'm wondering, based on your take, I'm wondering if this is going to affect her business, going
That's why,
forth.
yeah. For example, I mean, I'm sure, like, when she say luxury, like, yeah, I mean, it depends as well on how you, like, behave and afterward, like, because smaller is like a smaller country compared to America. Well, here in America, I'm sure, like, because there's so many different states, you can go on a reality TV show. There's tons of million of like shows. Like, you can go on a reality show and maybe some like people would not won't even know that you were on a reality show. Where in France,
Right.
like, they know the main reality show. I wonder as well, or maybe she was one of the type of people who wanted to transition because I kind of look at Instagram, like she posts like those really beautiful picture of herself, like modeling. Maybe she's want to become an influencer now, so maybe it's because it
Yes.
goes together. Like I mean, but
She
I
was the
don't know.
first one. She was the first one to post it on Instagram that she was part of the cast.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just curious to see how it's gonna go now with like Jonathan and
Right. Is
like yeah.
Jonathan going to be a chef at an upscale restaurant now that he's on this show, or does he have to
I
open
mean,
his own?
no, I mean the chef is like different. Like maybe I think he said like he wanted to open his goal was to open his own restaurant and stuff. So I don't know if he's like a private chef, if he's working for himself, but
Okay.
yeah. It's not like yeah, it depends on how you behave too, like in the show. Like Jonathan, if I know like you like they see you cursing and whatever, for sure, like your career is gonna be ruined. You have to like kind of disappear for a little while and reappear, like so that people forget about you and then try
But
to
will
find and
but will they forget, or do they have long memories?
I know people usually move on. Like there's always like
Okay.
another like show coming, and like unless you're like a super fan, you remember every season or whatever. Like because like like for example in US, like you do a show and then you want to be like you want to have a career and like in reality TV, you jump from one TV show to another show. I don't think Love is Blind and those people want to move, like want to bounce and do like a bunch of shows after another show and stuff. Like we're all in the 30s, come on. Like you reality TV show after a certain age, you should not be even on reality TV show. Like I said, even watching that. So that's why I'm very surprised and excited to see the casting was really good. Like they found people like in the 30s and they agreed to do that and stuff
Right.
because
It's not only that, you have, single parents, a single mom, a single
yeah,
dad. We have a gamut of, not only entrepreneurs, but people, like Van Mai is, I believe, isn't he a
by
vet
me.
tech?
Yeah, it's osteopath. It's like I think it's like dealing with like the
Osteo, yes,
bone, like it's
yes.
cracking the bones, people's bones and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
like a
like the
chiropractor. I'm sorry, I was thinking about
chiropractor.
somebody
Yeah,
else. Mm-hmm.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to mention, for example, the host, I was so shocked that Teddy Riner is like a judo player, like a judoka, is like a champion and stuff. It, growing up, I was like a huge success. Like I'm still like a big fan of him. Like he's like a
And
big
he's
celebrity
current.
in France.
Right. He's a current champion.
Exactly. I mean, everybody knows it. Like that's why, like, if for example, it's like here in the US, you will say, like, for example, you see Simone Biles presenting this kind of show. That's what people are shocked too. Like, it's like some kind of like above him. Like, what is it like diminish himself to go on a reality TV show, be like a presenter. And very like I was just before I joined, I know you were talking about like why his wife came later. I was shocked to know even like he's married or he has a partner because nobody knows like his private life. He never really posts about like his personal life. It's not like they are like a power couple in
Right,
France.
they're not
Everybody
out
know
there.
it. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, him is out there. Like everybody know he's a champion. But her, it's the first time I think the like even the French audience discovering her. Like she doesn't like present any other shows in France. She's like pretty much in his not in his shadow, but she's not like in the media scene like where everybody knows like in France who she. That's why even the
Right.
contestant like
I agree
the
with you because even with in thinking about at the Olympics, and I've been reading, I've been getting translated, French news kind of thing. People did say that, like even at the Olympics, when you turn to people's families, they don't even showcase her there. They keep their private life very private. So
exactly.
I did read that everybody's kind of shocked that he and his wife, he does interject. I guess they translate wife and partner, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is going on? But I know she's an entrepreneur. And I'm like, is this to kind of help grow her business? I,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
I don't
that's why.
understand, but
Yeah,
because they're now instead of him just being beloved, now it seems like they're a beloved couple.
exactly. Now, finally, maybe he wanted to, like put some light on her and kind of like, maybe she want to have like a career now in like media on TV and host over shows later. Because I just discovered her like watching like Love is Blind. I follow like Telerina like growing up. It's like, been like a big thing and stuff. But it's like it's a mixed like opinion. Some people say like, oh my God, like why are you doing this kind of show, whatever. But some other people can like think like it's kind of like a different side to see to his personality because we see him like when he practices sport, like being really tough and whatever. And here it's kind of like more softer and more giving like another side of himself. So
Yes, and
yeah.
I wonder if he's trying to, because you can't stay in that sport, but for so long, I wonder if
No,
he's trying to transition because he is a
probably.
great host. He is speaking very well. He is engaging. He is, probably trying for networks to see him. Okay, I
Yeah,
am the judo champion. I do have a great social media presence, but I also have a presence that I can host a show like
exactly.
this. I wonder if this is also his way, and we're talking about the host now, you guys, his way to transition and get people to see him as more than that. Because if this is a franchise, I mean, truly, this is a huge franchise all over the world. And if it's coming to France, and I would see a number of people trying to be the host. So I would be interested to know,
Mm,
did they seek him out, or did his agent probably, give this to him and say, hey, maybe this is a suggestion for you. I would love to hear from him and his wife. How did they decide this would be great for both of their careers?
yeah. Now that even I'm thinking of right now, like thinking of like French personalities, there is not like a French couple where both of us, like of the people, like the person, are both famous, and so it's usually maybe one is famous because one they are even famous. I don't even nobody know the partner. They keep them secret unless you like you go take those tabloid like those people magazine where with a paparazzi shot where you can see and they give you an exclusive of who their partner. But usually like those big personality in France, they like to keep a private life, even on a red carpet at event they don't show up with a partner and stuff like that. So now I cannot even think like who could have like hosted like a power couple, like I don't know, for example here, um, Mark Consuelos and Kelly Ripa, both of them, it's like
Right,
a power
right.
couple. I cannot think of one like on top of my head right now, like in front, unless they come from like those reality TV show where like those Love Island Friends kind of. But
Well,
that's for
the
me.
other versions, like I know Mexico, Argentina, and so forth, they are like, as you said, like the Mark Consuelo, the morning show host and hostess. It
Yes.
is known culturally to everyone as kind of the morning show, they're not couples together, or a large comedian. It could be that, a Kevin Hart would have hosted something, their version of it would host, in either one of those countries. But again, like Sweden, it is, a
Mm,
well-known and loved lady. Jessica is the hostess there. Her husband is
okay.
not a part of it. Her husband is not there. She hosts by herself, but
Oh, by yourself. Okay. Oh,
she
wow.
hosts by herself for Sweden.
I
So
only
uh-huh.
watch the UK one and the American one. That's really weird.
Well, here's the thing. I love to travel. I've been to several different countries, and this is kind of like my window in to see how different
Frank, yeah.
countries, kind of do their courtship,
Ye-
kind of learn different things. Like Brazil, they both get rings on engagement. They wear it on their right hand to show they're in a committed
Oh,
relationship.
wow.
And
Interesting.
I'm
Okay.
like, wait a minute, I've never heard of that. Now I gotta talk to, Brazilian folks about other customs they have. Like Argentina has another set of customs. And I find it very, very interesting that I learned so much about their cultures. And
Yeah.
so for this, I'm trying to learn some of the French,
For example,
culture and
what,
customs.
yeah, I understand. It's interesting. Like I said, for example, like, those women, when we were like in the women quarters doing the experiment, uh, you can say, like, you can tell, like, I mean, me just by watching, like, those women will never be friends outside of a show, like, because it's so separated. Like, and what's I noticed because I watched the show, like, with, like, in French, and I put, like, the afterward, like, the dub version to, and it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't make it justice because sometimes you have to hear the accent because sometimes like here in America too, in France people have some accent where you can determine like where you're from. For example, the south of France usually they have like a really thick south accent. Nobody actually this season had like was from the south, I believe. But
Right. That's another thing that I really don't know. And I put it to folks telling me, or folks like
because it
yourself
came
telling me, because I don't know that part of the cultural aspect. Like here as you said, in the US, we have different, dialects and different things that could tell you where we're
you
from.
from exactly and pretty much the stereotype of people coming from like came like the word choice that she used a mannerism is so like Paris elitist snobby. It's like so her you can if she's not faking it, it's not like a game, it's natural, you can
Right.
tell it's her. And I
But
know personally people like her. Like I mean, I grew up where like very rich, even like it's important like in France, like when you go to like a social event, like the first question after like what's your name, like what do you do? Like they want to know so that we can put you in a like in category and stuff like that. And stuff. Why somebody from the north, like Lil, I mean, I'm not gonna say what I really think about those people on your
don't.
platform like that. I want and stuff because I don't know who's gonna be listen and stuff. But you can say like you can hear like he has an accent too. But I mean, they are considered to be like hard worker and stuff
Right.
like
Blue
that. But
collar.
yeah,
Blue collar.
blue,
What the US would call
exactly.
blue
That's the
collar.
thing. Yeah, and yeah,
Because
that's
that's why
pretty
I'm
much
interested with Thomas's upbringing. Because Thomas and
yeah,
Tatiana say they're from the same side of town, but he says she went to the rich school.
exactly. For example, as you mentioned, you're from New York, right? You said.
Yes,
From
Brownsville.
exact okay, from people, for example, like if for people outside of the who live outside of New York, they will think that everybody from New York have the same maybe because whatsoever is expensive here, living here and what which it is. But Kim, for example, she will be like a downtown Manhattan girl, and Thomas will be like a Brooklyn Bushwick guy.
Yes,
Bushwick in
yes,
Brooklyn. That's
yes.
kind of like
Or
pretty
Red
much.
Hook.
There you go. Exactly. Bushwick, Brooklyn and whatever. It's like Kim is really that. Yeah, that's pretty
Right.
much what I can.
She'll be Upper West Side, Upper East Side, maybe Chelsea area. And
Exactly.
he is definitely on the Brooklyn artistic side.
Side.
But
There
that's
you
why
go.
I'm like Thomas and Tatiana. I said, wait a minute. Y'all giving each other zip codes, y'all doing this, and then you both parents, at
Yeah.
a particular age. I said, okay, what's going on here? Maybe they know each other in their side of town, and maybe, I
That's
was
why I
I
feel
was
like
waiting for that when they met each other, but they didn't give any significance. Now one thing I did talk about in the chat, and y'all in the comments, I do respond to my comments. One thing that kind of tickled my ears with Chloe was when she didn't describe her ethnicity, but she said it was, a French colony that was warm. So we discussed in my comment section about, I was so interested because we know about
Oh
the
yeah.
British colonies. We know a lot about the colonies for Spain and Portugal, but I really had to do a deep dive into the French colonies.
Okay.
So could you open our eyes a little bit? Because I know it's mainly, Indonesia and so forth. But what were you taught, since from what you taught about
But,
French colonies?
but she said from, did she end up saying actually I haven't even looked at where she's from
She didn't say
origin
exactly where, but
I
she said she
saw
spent many years in Guadeloupe, and he said his
yeah.
mom is from Guadeloupe.
Guadeloupe is like yeah, Guadeloupe. That's actually where the host is from. Teddy Bear. It's not from Africa. It's from Guadeloupe, like the
Thank you for
Caribbean,
telling me that. Mm-hmm.
Caribbean. Like it's like overseas department of France. Like there's like Martinique, Guadeloupe, Saint Martin. Even though they're not on the Europe continent, like overseas territory, they still belong to France. Like pretty much like yeah, like Hawaii, Alaska. Even though they're like island, it's still considered the U.S. But yeah, usually what I'm aware of, like the old colony are like a lot of African country, West African country, where like not what that have become like independent. For example, Tatiana, she said like she's from the Ivory Coast, West Africa. I
Yes.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it used to be like an old French colony and stuff. Most of like Senegal was like an old like they are like French speaking people who live there and stuff. And there's like even I thought she was like from Chloe was like from Reunion Island, which is like a tiny island like at the bottom south of Africa and stuff. But I need
Oh,
to look at actually where she's from because usually people it's like a mix of community uh like who are like Indian, Asian, like and she's giving me that vibe. I don't know. But it's an old French colony,
right.
but she said like a parent migrate to France and stuff. Oh.
Yes, Van Mai also talked about that.
Van Me, yeah.
Oh, it's me.
Me, yeah, me, Van Me.
Hey, thank you. I've been
Yeah, no
calling him
problem. I
Van
mean, yeah.
Mai the whole
Nah, yeah,
time.
no,
Oh,
me,
I
me,
do
yeah.
apologize.
No, no,
I am so glad I start off
Van
everything
Me,
by saying I apologize if I say
yeah.
things incorrectly.
That's so, that's so funny listening single name in French though. That, I mean, that's interesting
Hey,
too.
I know very little French. Okay, very
I,
little French. When you came on, you scared me.
I know
I'm
I was
like,
just joking.
no,
Like I was like, yeah. It's like love is like friend. Let's speak French.
no. I took Spanish in school. All my friends took French. I only know how to say the little gray mouse,
Yeah.
and I only know like how are I can't yeah merci beaucoup, I could say that.
Merci, man.
I could say, comment allez-vous, that's
Okay,
it.
yeah, no, I mean, still something.
Les Suisses Greece, hey, that's it, that's it.
That's, I mean, listen, trust me, man. I've been in this country for how many years now, but still, I still have that fake accent, and I sometimes have to find my words too. So it doesn't come easy and find like learning a new language. So
It does not, but hey, I went to Valencia, Spain, which, if y'all going to Spain, I would say yes, do your Madrid and Barcelona, but Valencia is my favorite. And
yeah,
I got through it with my high school Spanish, and where I'm originally, I was born in Trinidad, so I do know about
okay,
Guadeloupe. I do know it's like Guadeloupe, but it's the island that looks like the letter H. Um,
yeah, yes,
but we
yes.
went to Venezuela one time when it said you get good grades in your Spanish class, we'll take you to Venezuela. I got good grades and realized that what I learned in the classroom and what people speak on the streets are two different things.
It's very
Two
true,
different
like
things.
very true. Like even sometimes like the translation, like the when you I was watching the show in French, like there was like some people using like a lot of slang. I'm like people would want to, for example, learn by watching the show, wouldn't be able to pick up like what they're saying and stuff. That's why I say
Exactly.
sometimes like yeah, the subtitle is giving justice and stuff, but the context, like for example, when what's her name? I'm looking at the screen right now. Was it when Charles came and she called it like she called Kim, it's
Call,
Kim,
she
but
called she
she
called
called
him a
him like a
troll and an elf.
troll. Yeah. the thing I don't know how even how like an elf like you feel like it's like Santa Claus help like helper, right?
No, that's not the type of elf I thought of.
But that's a translation like actually in French like what she meant like like those like the people who
Oh,
who
I
help
thought you meant like a gnome.
not yeah I mean that's not in French that's how why they're not they're like
Okay.
they're like short like very short like very short, right?
Right. Very, very itty bitty. And a gnome,
Exactly.
like one of Cinderella's seven dwarfs. I thought
Exactly,
she
the
was
dwarf.
calling
I
him
didn't
that.
want to use that. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty.
That's
Yeah,
why I, not Snow
yeah, it's
White. I'm
pretty.
sorry, Snow
It's
White.
not. Yes, exactly. But I think, like for example, with Charles and Julie, I think is like being really understanding and nice because like he understand like she's really beautiful, and in my opinion, he will never get somebody beautiful like that
Oh.
like sat and see to be honest and saying I'm sure that's why even the girls were like making fun like, oh my god, like you were like a pretty much a catfish like based on how you were speaking and stuff like we imagine like you do like you representing yourself like saying like I'm doing I'm a MMA fighter and stuff. We think it will be somebody like in good shape, really tall, like with muscle and stuff. Whereas like okay, you kind of the opposite. That's why like Kim and Sabrina was talking like there's like a big difference with your voice and seeing you in person right now. Like you kind of like a
So, so are they going
catfish.
to
Like that's why
roast?
they say like sure.
Are they going to
It's,
roast Sarah for even finding him decently attractive via his voice?
what do you mean? Are they gonna roll?
Are they going to look at Sarah and say, "Look at who you were fighting for. Look at who you gave the
Exactly. That's
ultimatum
why now
to."
I'm sure Sarah is gonna feel like, oh my god, things I cannot wait to see next episode when Sarah was gonna come. I'm sure she's gonna make fun of him, like, thanks God, oh my god, like you were not even what I was. I'm sure Sarah is not disappointed at all, like with my now that she saw him, like and she said, okay, yeah, you're definitely not my type, like because I mean I can tell, like I mean, like how she's gonna, she's gonna react to it. It's gonna be really interesting too. Like there's
Right.
like a lot of snobbish, what's been on like
So
for
let
that.
me ask you: am I in for more smoking?
I believe so. I do.
Okay.
Especially, I mean, from what I saw the preview, like with Yannick and Tatiana, for example, it is like very lovey-dovey right now. We feel like okay, it's gonna be a yes, but I saw like in the preview next year when they're gonna visit Tatiana's mom, and she's saying
Mm,
like, even
mm.
if my daughter say yes and she loves you, me as a mom, if I say no, it's not gonna happen. And in
It's a
part of
no.
some African culture, what the parents say is very important. You can be in love, but if they say it's not like, okay, whatever, uh, what your parents think is does really matter. It has like a big
Right.
impact and influence on your decision and stuff like that. And sometimes like the kids have to listen to the parent if they see that I don't see that's not who I see you marry and whatever. Especially the fact that she's already been married, had like a kid, divorced and stuff. I'm sure like her mom is not gonna be
Exactly.
approving, say like, okay, what are you rushing now? Like you've been divorced right now. What would you
Yes.
go on an experience and marry somebody after 2 weeks or
Hmm.
something like that? It's really good.
Right.
I'm surprised.
I agree with you with Tatiana's mom, and we kind of got that from Anu in UK.
Uh,
I figured that the mom was so heavy handed. Now I want to know more about Tatiana's story, and
yeah.
how is it that her divorce. I want to know more about her life. Why her mother doesn't want to value her decisions. Now, based on that, there's one on Love Is Blind Brazil, the seniors. This
Okay.
this man gonna be her fourth husband, and her parents said, "I don't want to meet nobody else."
Wow.
Her parents said,
Wow.
"I don't bring nobody home from this show. We ain't gonna meet them."
Oh
So
wow.
I wonder
Okay.
if it's like that. Hold on one second. Corroded. I'm glad to have you here. She says, as a tall girl, I was very triggered by Cynthia, and it's actually Jonathan. But
Oh
yes, I wasn't so triggered. I was like, leave that man alone. Let him go along his,
yeah, Jonathan, you can tell, for example, like he was not secure for him. He was like even thinking ahead. He thought like,
right,
for example, all the meme would be like on the internet and whatever. People are gonna roast him even on the internet. That's why he's like let's be honest, like yeah, like in America, people don't care about what other people do, whatever. But in France, pretty much like yeah, like we judge you, like we're very quick, like it's a big judgment, they're very judgment, judgy, and very quick, like the opinions are over, like it's important. That's why sometimes like what girl you see like they always asking for reassurance. How do you think about my man? Do you think he's cute? Whatever the
Understood.
kid, like so like because they're seeking validation and thinking like approval is like a thing, but yeah, it's like
Okay,
you don't.
thank you. Because I was roasting Sabrina about why do you need this man to tell you you're pretty, you're beautiful.
Mhm.
I was roasting
Yeah,
her for that. I'm like, okay, why, you know, are you not
you
secure? But okay, I understand that part. But the Jonathan, you picked her, you decided to go on this vacation honeymoon. Now Jonathan to me is sounding like, he needed this vacation. That he wanted to go on
probably.
this vacation.
Yeah,
Okay,
probably. Who knows? I mean, I'm looking for.
because
I mean, I hope they
it's
come
not
to the
screaming
reunion.
secure. You will be
Very
in the
much
rest of your
so.
life. But wait a
Very
minute. What
much
about
so.
Julie? Why is Julie so the mind your business? Because if
Uh,
everybody's
uh,
used to being in the business, why is Julie so comfortable?
that's why. I mean, that's why I think like there's a contrast, like with the other girl, because like Sarah was saying, like that's not some how you should behave, like present all your business. And to be honest, people will like kind of more agree with what's our point of view, like talking about your sex life like that on TV. Yes, it's part of the experience, but you have to understand, like, yeah, like, I mean, it's a cultural thing too. Like, afterward, for example, like, you cannot talk about sex, for example, and expect, I don't know what job she's doing, expect to be like, if she was working in finance, like, go and talk to like some of a client the next day after the experience, and that people will know all your business and stuff. There's like those free spirit late like girl and stuff like that is not really high.
Right.
Very
Well,
appreciate. And I don't know, for example, if you notice, those usually in France too, like they like the way the women look too. Like they don't usually do like too much, like extra, like the weave and stuff. It's not part of a culture. Like less makeup, whatever. They're more like a natural, like.
right. Well, you can see it here in the photos. The girls are not overly done up. I
Yeah,
did say that about Cynthia. I absolutely love how she looks. She
yeah.
absolutely is just radiant. But, Ottawa said here, and it did crack me up. When Julie said, pardon my French, I said, all you speaking is French. So, girl, was that really what she said? I was
No,
like,
it's not part of. It's not how you. It's how you. It's like pretty much how you would translate in English. Like, excuse my me being vulgar.
okay, okay.
That's how you say like
I
pardon
was
my
like,
French. It's like she was saying like
right,
oh my God. She was using like okay,
pardon me.
no, she was saying for example, I think she was the context she used it. She said like her ex, they were pretty much dating her because she was good to be just good at sex, but she used like the F word and it was like
Gotcha.
very and the expression is like oh pardon my vulgarity. It's like pardon my
Right.
French. That's how they pretty
Pardon my
much
language. Okay. I
yeah.
was like, there's no way. I
It's
said
so
in
weird for
recap.
them to connect like pardon my
Right. I
French.
knew
Yeah,
that was
it
I
doesn't
knew
make
that was an
sense.
error
That's
in translation. I knew that
yes.
part.
Yes. I mean, that's hilarious. Well, but
It
I'm
is.
excited
I
to
am. Thank you so much because
no problem.
I
Thank
start a
you.
comment. It says, Jay, your understanding and POV is very illuminating. Thank you for
Yeah, I
this.
mean, it's just as long as like people in the comment, it's just my opinion. It's not a generalization. It's not everybody. I mean, yes,
No,
of
it's
course,
not.
there's
This
like exception, but based on my experience and from what I know, I'm just sharing.
awesome.
I'm
It
not
has
trying to insult anybody or
no,
trying
no,
to put
no.
people
As
out of
we
something.
said,
And I
this
hope
is
I hope people are not offended by my viewpoint and stuff like that. So,
no, it was quite illuminating. Absolutely loved it. As I always say, this is an edited show. They're showing us a story that they want to tell us. It's scrolling on the bottom. It's for entertainment purposes only. And I always beg for forgiveness in saying anything incorrectly, like their names. I always want to call
but it's
Alexandre Alejandro. I don't know
Alexandra.
why.
Alexandra. Plural, yeah.
Alexandra.
There you go. You got it. Yeah, you have
I
to
wish
overly
Clement was still
Jeremy.
here so I could keep on saying
Clément.
that.
Yeah, Clément. What do you think is gonna make it? What do you think is gonna say yes?
None of them. But who I hope,
Hey, no, I hope
who I
if
hope
a show needs to come back, at least one couple has to at least make it. I mean, for season
Well,
two.
I
I mean,
hope Charles and Julie makes it. I hope Charles and Julie
oh,
and Yannick and Tatiana. That is my hope.
okay. For me,
But the
for sure,
others,
right now, it's
mm,
Alexandre and Chloe for me. Chloe for me,
okay,
who's the,
okay.
in my opinion.
Chloe did say she loved him, and he don't say it back
Sit
now.
back, yeah, we're gonna see what's happening. I feel like she's receiving a lot of pressure from her parents, like questioning, like it's for love. We don't believe in divorce. I mean, from based on
Right,
what we're trailer. But me and
right.
Sabrina, I don't think we're gonna make it because in the trailer
No,
we see like yeah, they're talking about exes and we'll show picture of the exes first, and it's gonna be
I
crazy.
think Sabrina's setting him up because what he says is that I only showed you my ex's photo because you asked me.
Yeah. And
I
she said,
don't
no, I
think that.
did not. Like, who started
Yeah,
it? He was defending himself, like, because you asked me, yeah.
yeah. I don't think Van Mai is going to say, you know, like
I
I
see
want to
they
show
make
you
it
what
to
my girl look
until
like.
until the altar, though. I saw, like, on the trailer, like, they make it to the altar. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if they can still say no at the altar, yeah,
Yes, they can. They can say no, and I hope he gets to say no because my thing is, as you said, this is how they are. But Sabrina, Tatiana, well, Sabrina Kim, the president and vice president of the Mean Girls Club. Tatiana is just a card carrying member. But
It's funny.
I'm hoping
Mean Girl
Tatiana
Club.
doesn't get too mean, but I like
Yeah.
I like here's the thing. Here's where I kind of I guess appreciate their little bit of meanness or a little bit of aloofness, okay? When Kim was cool as a cucumber, when Tatiana came and told her about what Thomas said, and also when Tatiana was cool, when Cindy came at her about Yannick, I was like, that is the one time I was cool with them being a little bit,
Yeah.
above. It's like, I don't have time for this foolishness.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah,
Well,
but I appreciate you, Jay. I'm going
no
to be doing
problem.
this
Thank
weekly.
you.
I'm going to be
Sure.
doing this weekly at noon on a Saturday, noon
I mean,
EST. So I hope you can join me again next week.
hopefully, well, yes. I mean, usually, I mean, I didn't know. I just discovered like you have your own channel because I've seen you before on Kojo channel reviewing like I Love Is Blind and stuff. I know you're
Yes.
part of a panel over there, so sometimes I'm listening. And trust me, I usually don't like to come up, and I'm very like kind of shy a little bit to come up. It's like one of my first time speaking, like on
Awesome. Well,
training
thank
and.
you.
So yeah, I will join definitely maybe next week if you still at the same time. I'll put a
Yes, it will
reminder.
be at the same time next week. We have 4 more episodes, you guys, on Wednesday for both Brazil and France.
Is
Now
Brazil worth watching the
Brazil
series?
is the over 50. Okay,
Oh wow, okay.
yes, they are over 50. They're between 50 and 70 years old. It's worth watching
Okay,
because
it's a
they
different
they're real
dynamic.
spicy because they got kids and grandkids, and somebody got 10 cats, somebody got two
What?
kids born in the same year, and they ain't twins. I mean, they ain't shy about talking intimacy and physicality. The seniors got their own drama, and somebody
Oh
wants
wow,
somebody wants to switch fiancés at the mixer.
really?
Yeah.
That's a tease. Okay, now you got me interested, and I'm gonna be watching. Okay,
Well, I do have
interesting.
recaps for it. If you don't want to watch all four, you can certainly watch my recaps. And
Marika,
then
okay.
tomorrow at 5:05 EST is where I'm going to be doing my live for the Love Is Blind Brazil. But I love Brazil. They always do something very, very, very different.
Yeah.
They always change it up. And now the seniors, I'm hoping that other countries would allow their seniors to do
Yes,
this
to do
as
that. Yeah,
well.
one knows, like in the US, like season nine, actually, I think a certain number, they're gonna maybe try to switch nowadays and
I'm
go for
I'm
something
hoping
else.
because
Are you
we
gonna be
have right, we
watching
have
the
later daters.
Denver,
Yeah,
the
yes,
Denver
Denver
scene?
comes out October 1st, but
You
we had
saw the
seniors
cast release.
dating.
Okay,
I saw Denver. Oh golly, yeah,
there was a
Denver.
they released the cast. Like I mean,
Oh, that
I
cast
mean,
is going to drive
exactly.
me nuts.
I mean, I'm not really excited really about like like somebody who's 41 and people in the 20s. I mean, how are they gonna be matching? I mean, it doesn't make sense. That's
The
why at least here
man
in
who wants
France,
it, the man who blends his chicken with lemonade. He need to go home.
and do you see the guy who eat the black guy who eat is the
Boogers.
boogers from it? Yeah, it's
Well, hey,
already
he just
like
he just helping the planet by recycling. Okay.
no,
You know
come
what
on,
he did?
it's great.
Here's my mean girl take on him. Okay, I think he just said that so none of his ex girlfriends will come out and say anything against him, because who's going to want to come out and say I used to date
Used to
him
date.
knowing that
Okay,
he eat his
okay,
burgers?
okay.
Okay.
That's a good strategy. Okay, I see. I mean, well, I can see you, but you embarrass yourself on TV too, like by saying that. Like, and who else is want to date you now? But you say that. I mean,
And then the
that's the
other
point.
girl who says she just want a man that has good hygiene and clean underwear, I said, ain't none of her exes coming up, because they're gonna be like, ooh,
Like, exactly.
ooh,
It's true.
do you wash?
I mean, I know there's like already somebody on the cast. I mean, I was like watching on the internet. It was like a scammer already. Like he hasn't
Yes,
paid like some of his contractors. So,
yes.
I mean, okay, it's gonna be very interesting. I
It's
mean,
going to be interesting. I love the mix and cast of characters for Love Is Blind Denver. I'm not too excited about it, but I figure it will
yeah.
give me some drama.
Last
I'll
season
see.
was not good.
Right,
Like
last
with
season
six episodes,
Minnesota
that
was
was too
not.
bland. Yeah.
Yes, it was bland, and this is going to be just as bland. But we also supposed to have Married at First Sight, but I'll be caught up with this. Denver will be last on my list because France's reunion is supposed to be out
Oh,
October
oh,
1st.
oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Have they already
So
shot it? I mean, maybe. I mean, it's been like maybe a
right,
year
they
ago.
probably did, but France is going to be first on my list, my priority, with Brazil, and then maybe I'll get to Love Is Blind Denver. But I will cover it since I cover all of Love Is Blind. But
Event.
I may be a little testy with them. I mean,
We'll
because
see.
that's my people, meaning in the U.S. I may be a little testy with
Let
them.
me.
But I do appreciate, yes, he blends his chicken with lemonade, rejections, and some other stuff. Okay, and some other stuff. Go on to Netflix's IG, and they have the whole cast or their trailer where they talk a little bit about him
About
themselves. And he is Billy 2.0, except he blends the chicken with
yeah.
lemonade and a few other
I
things, and that's how he eats. And he's
yeah.
also a single. He's also a dad.
Yeah, like yeah, I think that's like because they are like a single mother before just before in the US. Now they're doing like a single dad.
Right.
I'm wonder if it's gonna get like a full storyline. It's gonna find somebody to have like a full story to follow, or just it's gonna be like in the background and we're not even gonna follow him at all. I mean,
Probably
yeah, we'll
because if
see.
we look at other things, we didn't see much of the actual primary cast when we saw UK's commercial. So I'm
It's
wondering if
true.
these people are just to draw us in, and maybe we just see one or two of them. But
Hmm.
the main cast, we're not going to see too much of them. And I will say this for Love Is Blind France, I'm very disappointed that we
Yeah.
did not get a cast listing. We did not get the cast photos till really late.
It's like on a
We
it's on a different Netflix page. It's not like the US or the popular because if there's like a
right,
Netflix friend where they posted like in August, early
right.
August, I believe.
That's my thing. They posted it really late. We found out about it. We even have the trailer for Italy before we had the trailer for France. And Italy
Okay.
doesn't come out until I think November, if not the end of October.
Yeah,
So,
because I know on the Netflix Instagram page they haven't posted at all. Like
right,
I don't know if it's like or like I call it the original. I'm assuming it's the
exactly. So,
US
so my
one and stuff.
my last question for you, Jay, is
Yeah.
the translation of Love Is Blind France. I've been seeing all over French social media that people
Yeah.
cannot stand
They
that
cannot stand that.
translation.
Yeah, but because it doesn't, I think the reason why they try to change, if they change, is because if you want to translate like literally, there was like a show back in the day in France called Already Love Is Black, and that's not maybe not to create confusion with the own verb, like
Ah,
it was like a different, pretty much it was like I don't know if I remember the concept. It was like pretty much you were dating in the dark
okay.
and,
Okay.
like a TV show that happened like years ago, and it was called like pretty much Love Is Blind, but they kind of now like I think maybe for copyright issues I believe that they try to
Mhm.
change the way they try and say that just somebody everybody is calling is Blind French.
Okay.
L'amour
Well,
est aveugle.
now I will tell you the only show I used to watch back in the day that had a little bit of French, but it was done in English mainly, was, I don't know your age, Jay, and I'm not going to ask you,
I mean, I
but
can tell I'm 38 years old.
oh, I don't know if you know it. It's an old comedy from back in the day when it was the German occupation of France. It was a little comedy called Allo Allo.
I know, no. It
Oh,
wasn't a cartoon.
no, it was real people. It was real people.
Okay.
It was
Oh
like a
wow. Okay.
cafe, and the cafe owner's name is Rene, and he has a wife,
Renee.
and he was, with also the bar girls that were in there, but it was also the Germans and the German resistance and the spies. It was a
Huh.
French comedy, but they
I
did it
need
in
to
English.
look it up now. Okay.
Allo, allo,
Hello.
ALLO.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Hello, hello. It's like what pretty much you say on the phone when you pick up.
Yes, and that's was,
Okay.
the Spies Network was through his cafe. Oh,
Okay. Huh.
Michelle knows the show. It was very
Oh,
popular
really?
in the
Okay.
UK.
In the
Okay.
UK. Okay. All right. All right. Hello, hello. All right.
But
I will
Jay,
look
thank
up.
you so much for
Thank you
being
for
here.
having
I
me. It
hope to
was
see
really
you
nice chatting
next
with you.
time.
Thank you so
Yes, it
much.
was wonderful. Wonderful.
All
You gave us
right.
great insight.
I
And I
appreciate
hope to
it.
see you next week. Okay. I'm going to
No
drop you down
problem.
now.
All right. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye bye. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been wonderful. I'm thanking Jay so much for coming up and giving us a very good perspective from someone who is from France. It was wonderful for him to help me kind of navigate. I know many of you in the chat too thanked him for his perspective. I hope he can be here next week. Wonderful that I have folks that are coming out of their shell and coming onto a panel for the very first time. Okay. Very first time. As Sam said, I got her out of her shell. She does it in members only, though. Okay. She does it in members only. But thank you so much for trusting me and coming up and sharing your thoughts. And even if your thoughts are not the same as mine, please come up and share because I really want to learn. I want to know and grow, and we can always have great conversation. Okay. Thank you so much for y'all. Wonderful show as always. Thank you so much for being here. I want to keep these close to about 2 hours. Okay. Sam is saying she's going to pop up tomorrow for Brazil. Yay. I'm excited. But y'all, thank you so much again for being here. Thank you, France, for trusting us and showing us, who you are in the dating world. And as I always say, I will see you on the next one.